Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Moscow. Sorry about the sirens in the background, but today we're going to come out here and we are going to tour the ready to plant vegetable garden. This to me is like the most fun time of year when I'm very idealistic about how my garden's going to be this year. And I got all the plans and it's just empty and waiting for me to fill her up. And I do have my hoard of plants back here to fill her up. But in any case, we are in the vegetable garden right now. It's in the same place it was last year, so let me pan around so you can see. This, in fact, is the back of my house. You exit out that door there, there's my driveway, and then this is the backyard. We do live in the woods, live in East Tennessee. This is a zone 7B, very borderline 7B, and that's where we're at. So I do live in the woods, I love living in the woods, but it is pretty limited on the full sun spots. This is as full sun as it gets back here. Could use a little bit more sun because again the trees that surround us, but it's beautiful and sometimes you got to work with what you're working with. On this channel, the Moscow, we are not about things being perfect or telling you the best or only way to do things. What we are about is trying stuff and taking you on the journey with us and kind of showing you that just because your conditions aren't perfect doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Got a bunch of seeds, let's put them in the ground and see what we get. So back here this year, I want to talk through a couple things that we're changing and why. So the first thing you might notice is there's a fence. Not just those fences, let's pan over. There's a fence around this garden with a gate that's fastened to a post we just happen to have. This is not a high quality fence. This is a cattle fence with T-posts because it's cheap and I'd rather spend the money on the plants and I ain't got the money for a nice fence, so here we are. You might be like, why, Heather, why did you fence in your vegetable garden? It's a very legitimate question. Let me show you. That's why. Turns out Menabrew here loves a butternut squash. Ate every one we had last year. This one likes to rip the stuff off plants or just eat the plants. My whole garden, my whole yard, y'all remember when I put in that hydrangea bed? I've mentioned this before. They ate every hydrangea, and I know you're saying, Heather, those are poisonous to dogs. They're not that toxic apparently. They've eaten them all. Did I intend for them to and risk their cute little precious lives? No. But that group right there, that's a wild group of dogs right there. They're cute, and I love them. It's my fault I didn't train them to not eat my plants, but that's why it's fenced in this year. BT Dubs, they've already broke into the fence. Maybe I'll insert some footage of that here. Maybe when I'm editing, we'll get lazy. You'll find out here in a minute. All right, so first thing is all this beautiful mulch. Now, it's been all weekend. My birthday present, I said I don't want. Yes, baby. Not enough pets. I'll get to you in a minute. I said I don't want any gifts. I just want someone to work in my garden with me for 8 hours. And we spread all this mulch. And it was great. It's the best present ever. So what I've got here, I've also made the rows, instead of going this way, they're gonna go this way. I think that fits with the sun better. The sun rises over there and goes over that way, kind of. This area is fairly shady. I live in the woods, so there's a lot of shade. This is as full sun as it gets, admittedly. Other places in my city are more full sun, but I love being enveloped by the trees and living in the woods, so we're just gonna do the best that we can. We do usually get a lot of productivity, so not a problem. So what we're gonna do here, we have got all of our drip line. I did use drip tape again. I do think that that is better for the vegetable garden because you can run drip tape for a lot more footage than you can drip tubing. And I did use actual like pine bark mulch this year. The reason I went with the pine chunks, let me show you what it looks like. Like this. See how it's chunky? It's not necessarily my first choice, but it was the cheapest option available to me. I wanted to do wood chips from Chip Drop, but I made a Chip Drop order and for like a year, nothing got delivered. So that's out. I could have like called some tree service companies and arranged something with them, and I may do that in the future because this much mulch is kind of pricey for my hobby, but would have rather spent it on plants. But I do love it. I like that it's dark. I think it looks beautiful and manicured. I went ahead and mulched the whole thing. You know, in the future, I'd like to put a greenhouse here, but again, I can't grow a money tree apparently. I looked for the seeds and they didn't exist. Bummer. So we went ahead, Jason tilled this for me, and then we fenced it in, and then we laid down the pathways. Previously, I had like 3-foot planting areas with 3-foot walkways, and that didn't leave me much actual planting space. The problem with that is I'm too lazy to put more than one line of drip tape per each. And so there was a massive amount of unplanted area, unplanted just like dirt, that wasn't working for me. So this year I went with much smaller planting areas, and that's one of the goals I've got for this year is I don't want any uncovered soil. I'm learning that uncovered soil is terrible. I don't want to weed everything. I mean, I need to come out here and weed now and then put some mulch down. And plant things and put mulch down, but nothing, I don't want any uncovered area. So if I don't think the plants will cover it, I'm going to plant something in between it, just whatever seeds I have on hand. I've got a lot of nasturtium seeds. I've got a lot of other random seeds, plants that I could put in here. So no uncovered dirt to keep the weeding down. Also, this is a very, very thick layer of mulch. Let's talk about why we went with the pine bark nuggets as opposed to the straw that we had last year. I love the straw. Sorry, I love the straw. The straw looks majestic to me. It's great, but it sprouted its own weeds, and I was having to weed the straw. It also broke down way too quickly in the amount of water that we get here. We get a lot of rain. Way too quickly it broke down. It wouldn't stay put. It was sprouting weeds. I love the way that looks. I love the color. I love that feel of the straw. What is she doing? She is trying to lay on the fence. Ray. I don't know. They want to be in here, but no, too many plants have died. So I wanted to do something that was going to suppress weeds more than the straw did. Wasn't going to do weeds itself. So this is a thick layer of mulch here to try to suppress weeds. One thing I would do different than I did this year already is we get a lot of cardboard. We order almost everything online because I'm too lazy to go to the store. I could have cardboarded this whole thing and then put mulch down. I took every piece of cardboard that I had and laid it down the rows. But the other reason that I like this is I can blowtorch this. Y'all see my weed blowtorch. I can come in here and blowtorch the walkways and anything that's mulched, and then I've only got to worry about weeding the planting areas. And again, we're going to plant those up so that it's not such an issue. So now that we've got kind of an overview, let's just turn you around so you don't have to look at my face all the time. I mean, come on, and take a look at what we got here. So here we go. So you walk in the gate here, and I've got all this space. I've got these pots down here. I'm going to line them up either here or here and pot up herbs and ornamental things, just something to make me happy. But all my pots are going in here. Back there are some trees for a project up front. So along this fence line, even though I know that the dogs might eat it, I think I'm going to plant Ruby Moon Hyacinth Bean to cover the infrastructure here, because obviously it's not very pretty, but also I can use it for cut arrangements. Over here, again, we'll put some pots. And like I say, eventually I would like to have a greenhouse right here so that you could walk in, utilize your greenhouse, and then have some cool weather crops, or maybe like sweet peas on this fence. But we've got the fence, we might as well use it. So this first strip here I'm going to use, and that's why it's almost completely mulched, for watermelons. Wyatt is obsessed with getting a yellow watermelon, so we're going to plant those. I will do a video about it. He's very excited to get to plant his watermelon seeds. I think this next one is going to be like either okra or squash and peppers. This one here, I did this for my supports last year and it worked out really, really well, so we're doing it again. T-post and cattle fencing. I see people use cattle panels for this all the time. Cattle fencing, obviously I keep some on hand, but also it's cheaper in my opinion. And I'm gonna do my cucumbers up here. So that should cover, for the most part, this planting area as well. And I may even come on the back side and do some lettuce. I do want to try to be better about, what's the rotation where you plant seeds all the time? Succession planting. So I want to get it to where I'm not buying as much lettuce as I'm buying, because I've been on a diet, been trying to keep my weight to the place that I want it to be, and that means I eat a lot of salads. I do enjoy salad anyhow, so it just adds up to just eat it as the choice. So I would like, my kids love salad too, so I need succession plantings of lettuce. Ideally, maybe later I could plant a planter against the back fence and put lettuce in there, because it's almost always shaded over there, so that might be an option as well. Again, here we can do more either okra, squash, or peppers. I have a lot of squash that I want to grow, and I do want to try to grow them up, tie them up a stake this year. I did buy some BT. I struggle with borers real bad, and I've got really fun squash varieties that I've not been able to grow successfully, so we're really going to focus on that. And in between those on the ground, let's plant something so that there's no exposed dirt. This is the same type of trellising system. This one is for the tomatoes. I'm gonna put a lot of tomatoes on here. We're gonna prune them super, super heavy, down to 1 liter, and then again, probably nasturtiums on the ground to prevent stuff from growing there. One of these will be for green beans. We love a lot of green beans. We can can a lot of green beans. We can give those, baby, what's the cries for? I can give you pets in a minute. I know, you can't come in here. That's where they got in the other day. You can't come in here, baby. Oh, you're a sweet girl. Oh, you're a sweet girl. You've never had pets ever. We never pet you. No, it's just sweet, right? Okay. Oh, well, then that's lovely. It's a good thing I don't care. Get off the fence, baby. Anyhow, so one of these will be for green beans. Probably this one that's a little bit wider is going to be for corn. We're going to heavily stake our corn. Every year my corn falls down. Let's have a talk about that. I have heard, Heather, just plant your corn in a block so it supports itself. Don't plant it real tight, like 6 inches. Girl, I plant like 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches. It falls down. I think it's because the rows were going this way and the wind comes this way. So I'm hoping by changing the row orientation, not only will it help with the light, but maybe it'll help with the wind, and I won't come home and have the tragedy of all my corn on the ground and me like trying to stake it up and hug it. I'm so sorry. But also I'm going to, instead of doing the T-post with the string, I got a more serious string, and I'm going to do these green stakes that I have a bajillion of, and I'm going to do them more closely together. I'm worried that the stakes won't be strong enough, but by putting them closely together and a lot more string, maybe I'll have better success. I may even go in with the same like netting I use for the cut flowers. So we'll see if we're gonna do that, but that's what's gonna happen right here. We're gonna get some corn. We had some corn last year, but it could have been better. We also could have worked on our pollination of the corn. And then these rows are kind of undecided. Let me flip you back around. So I've got a lot of cut flowers, so zinnias needs to be like a whole row, let's be honest. I love zinnias so much. And they are eating nuts, by the way. And then another row of cut flowers. We've got sunflowers, we've got bachelor's buttons, we've got snapdragons, which again is a struggle. That's a struggle for me, we're working on it. We've got all sorts of things that could go in here. So definitely a full row of corn, definitely a full row of zinnias, and definitely a full row of green beans. And I may do like, I don't know, I'm worried about the shading effect. I don't think it'll be a problem because of the orientation of the rows, but I'm worried that my green beans might get shaded out. But I'm also more worried that my tomatoes will get shaded out. So I may do like green beans and tomatoes, because the tomatoes are more important than the green beans. And then do like, you know, zinnias, corn, other crap. Here we actually have some cool weather crops planted. Oh, look at my shadow. So we've got a crop of weeds, but we've also got some, this is beets. So we'll see how that pans out for us. We've also got cabbage. I've never grown cabbage before. Planted the seeds in the ground. It is looking pretty good. I do need to put some bug and slug out here because, you know, it's getting eaten. You know how that is. The drip is in here, but I have not turned it on yet. This is Bells of Ireland that I threw in the ground. That's a weed. That one's a weed. This one is Bells of Ireland. And then we've got some boo plurum. So then I did put my questionably viable dahlias from last year in all of these. They didn't make it. They deader than dead over there. So that's what we've got going. But it feels nice to have it like all the way around it. Can you see that? Completely landscaped. And it just, I'm seeing a lot of space that I could have, you know, raised beds all the way along here, you know, like those pretty ones from Vigo Garden that I'd only be able to afford one a year, but raised beds. Then on this fence panel, I want to do my black-eyed peas or my cow peas. Same thing, dogs might eat them, but want to give it a try because I do enjoy those. We would eat a lot of them. It would be a good crop for us. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. Not that one, but so my problem with these stakes previously is that when I put them in the ground, they don't stay because I can't, my ground is so hard underneath where it gets tilled that I can't get them to stay. But what I've done, and I mean, they're still pretty flexy, but because they're so close together, what I've done is use a T-post driver, like the thing that goes over the top and then you pound it down, to pound these in slightly so that they're a lot more sturdy. And then I actually have done this, I started this and then I realized I should do it in a different order. But see, they're a lot closer together than usual, but what I'm gonna do is get the netting that I use and stretch it out and make sure that it is on there really well and that these are on there really well and get them in the ground. And hopefully that will fix a lot of my problems as far as plant supporting goes. Look like they'd be trying to eat that. But in any case, that's what she's looking like from this corner. Completely in love with the mulch and how it looks and how everything is turning out. When I look at this, ooh, let's go over to the shade. Oh no, 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 no. When I look at this garden, I'm not even gonna shut my mouth long enough to get there, am I? Hold on, we're going. Is this still recording? Yeah, got audio still. When I look at this garden, I just see so many exciting possibilities. Very idealistic. We're not gonna have any weeds and the mulch is gonna stay looking beautiful and nothing's gonna fall down. Okay, that's what I believe in my heart. Not really, but we're learning something every year. We're getting better at it every year, and that is the name of the game, is to learn something and get better and to do all the things. All this mulch and how clean it is and how much space there is that is unused right now and it's full of possibilities. I just really, really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Comment below what you're excited about growing this year. And we will see you guys. She just tore a plant off a tree. Just I ran, oh Lord. Thank you guys so much for watching and we will see you in the next one. Bye.